Ubisoft did it. They just released the biggest update for Far Cry 6 to date, adding amazing quality of life features. Valhalla, are you watching? This is what we want. One of the biggest requests was of course the ability to reset bases, so you can replay them as many times as you want. A new difficulty has been added, loadouts, and way more. But they also dropped the most exciting new free content since the release, the Stranger Things mission. Now maybe by the time you watch this, it's not out yet. It will be released on March 24th, and these are the times that I heard, so it's pretty early if you're in the US. I already got to play it early though. No spoilers, because it's really cool to experience for yourself, but what I will say is that this hour-long mission is really what you want from Far Cry DLC. So yeah, it's already longer than the previous crossover missions. It's in a completely new area that looks insane and you will laugh, especially if you are a Stranger Things fan. It strips you off your gear and it takes away your weapons, so it can be quite challenging too. It has brand new enemies, some pretty nice cutscenes, with the final one maybe dropping a small tease for what the next new Dawn style game will be, but I will save that for a future video. Now when you boot up the game on March 24th, after installing the update, you will get a call from One with the mission in your journal. You need to be in the big open world, so only have completed the tutorial island, which doesn't take that long, and they can play the Stranger Things content. And there is, by the way, a free weekend for the game going on as well. So you could just download the game on your platform of choice for free, get to this point, which again is very early on, and then play the Stranger Things content, and then drop out if you want. You get some pretty cool rewards for finishing this Stranger Things mission, namely the Nethershot shotgun, which an M133 with incendiary bullets. There's also a Tostador flamethrower skin in Stranger Things style, which I dig as well, and some other unique weapons that you can find for yourself. They're not that special, but yeah, again, not a lot of spoilers in this video. I would just say play this free mission if you own the game, or try it with the free weekend if this sounds exciting. Now before we touch on the other things in this update, again it adds a lot of good stuff, I want to quickly note that this is the final thing on the roadmap. So is this also the final update for Far Cry 6? It at least seems that way. I also think that that is the case, but they did not confirm it one way or the other. But you have to keep that in mind if you want to buy the new packs. They also will launch with the Stranger Things content, that we will likely have no other content beyond this point. I would be sad if they drop it though, because after this patch the game is in a way better spot. You could say that some of the quality of life features completely change the gameplay in very positive ways. Dennis enjoys, we'll talk about that. Of course, if you enjoy the Far Cry content, then leaving a like on it would really help me out. And subscribe if you haven't already, because if we know more about the future of Far Cry, I'll of course be the first to tell you here. Okay, your turn, Dennis.
Thanks, Jordan. Now, next to this amazing new content, we also have a lot of quality of life changes that have been added to the game. For starters, we finally have loadout slots in our inventory. The patch notes mentioned that loadouts unlock after the Libertad Rises mission, so that's pretty much after you leave the tutorial island. From that point, you will have 4 loadout slots in your inventory, as you can see here at the left side of the arsenal screen. Every loadout consists of a Supremo, 3 weapons, 1 sidearm, and 5 pieces of gear. And as soon as you set yours up, you can just swap between them at any time by going into your menu and selecting the loadout you want, which will immediately swap all your gear over. And I'm very happy that this feature got added. It makes me want to swap out gear a lot more. Like in Spec Ops missions, for example, where I'm now able to quickly swap between my parkour set for the extra movement when I'm running to and from the bioweapon location, and my more combat focused setups with extra defense and healing for the final part of these missions where you have a lot of enemies running at you. It works great for F&D bases too, where you can first take out some targets with a silent sniper rifle from far away, then close in and switch to shotguns and SMGs for the final enemies. It really allows you to vary up your playstyle a lot easier, which in turn makes it way more fun to do so. And what better way to try out this new feature than by replaying some F&D bases? Because thanks to this update, we are also able to replay any F&D base we want by resetting them via the world map. You will only unlock this feature once you complete the Far Cry 6 main campaign, after which you will gain the ability to abandon previously secured F&D bases. bases. And like I said, you can do this via the world map, and it's as simple as hovering over a captured F&D base, which are marked with these blue Libertad flags, and then holding the abandon button. You can't do this if you're too close to a base, but other than that, it's as simple as pressing a button. And once an outpost is reset in this manner, you will have to fight stronger enemies than before if you want to take it back. As seen in the patch notes, abandoning the F&D base increases the level of enemies inside the F&D base to player level +4. Which checks out for me. I'm at level cap of 20 and the base is level 24, so that means you're going to be seeing a lot of enemies with skull icons, which indicates that they're a lot tougher than enemies at or below your level. Of course, there's also a reward for if you reclaim a previously captured base, as after abandoning the F&D base, the rewards offered are increased, granting additional moneda. There is a bit of a problem with this feature though. The first time I reclaimed an F&D base, I did receive extra moneda, 400 to be precise, which is a pretty decent reward. However, after replaying several other bases as well, I realized I only ever received moneda for the first one I completed. So I'm not sure if this feature is just bugged for me, though I imagine this is not how it's supposed to work. Of course, let us know if it works for you in the comments below. Now there's another big change that was added in this update, and you might have already seen it next to the ammo counter in the footage, because you can now see the ammo type your weapon is currently using. The reason this was added is because you are now also able to switch out your ammo types on the fly. If you open up your weapon wheel, you'll see that next to switching your firing mode, you are now also able to change ammo type as well. Doing this will trigger a reload animation as you load a new type of ammo into your gun, but it doesn't actually cost any ammo to do so, so that's really nice. Also keep in mind that while this means you don't have to go to a workbench to change your ammo type, you still have to unlock the different variants at a workbench in order to switch to them. The unlocks do still work per category though, so if you've unlocked all different ammo types on a single SMG, you will also have access to them on any other weapon of that same category. But yeah, having this opens up some really nice options to switch your damage type mid-combat. Of course, the swap isn't instant, but it's really nice if you see a vehicle that's bothering you to immediately try to swap to explosive ammo and take it out. After that, you can just swap back to armor-piercing rounds to take out the rest of your enemies. It also allows you to try out some fun combos a lot more, like combining poison gas grenades on a grenade launcher to then ignite these poison clouds with incendiary ammo from your assault rifle. Normally, I wouldn't really try these things, as armor-piercing rounds and headshots were and still are way more efficient at killing enemies, but knowing I can switch back to that at any time makes me want to try out other ammo types as well. So yeah, we're 3 for 3 here. Some really great quality of life changes that especially help with some replayability after you finish the game. And speaking of replayability, if you really want to experience the game in a new way, you can also try out the new guerrilla difficulty mode that the update added. Joyce has already been trying that out, so I'll let her tell you what that's like.
Thanks Dennis. Next to story and the default action mode, guerrilla mode is, as the game itself calls it, the hardcore Far Cry experience for those who want to test their skills. You can't switch it in your regular save though. To activate this mode you have to start a brand new game, and once the mode is selected you can't switch to a lower difficulty. Don't worry about overwriting your current save file, as Far Cry 6 does have multiple save slots on console and PC. In the patch notes, Ubisoft writes that guerrilla mode increases the overall combat difficulty, including AI detection and reaction to the player. I played a few hours in this mode and I have to agree, they really don't joke around. Even in the first few minutes where you have to escape Esperanza, you can get detected very quickly. And yeah, you don't have any gun, melee or sprint options, so you basically don't have a choice to start all over and be extra careful next time. Most enemies are tougher to kill too. While using an assault rifle with a silencer, for example, I had to headshot some enemies twice to kill them, or even shoot a ton of bullets to take them out. And it's also the other way around. The tougher enemies can eliminate you quite fast, even normal soldiers, so be aware of your surroundings. And you might have noticed something about these soldiers that's missing above their head. They're on the health bars, that's right, they are automatically turned off in guerrilla mode, which gives you quite a challenge since you don't know when enemies are about to go down. Especially heavy armored soldiers or commanders. The option was already available in the game, and if you don't like this after all, you can easily turn it on again by going to the options menu, the HUD, and then the elements section of the game. There are more things you can switch around if they are not to your liking, like enemy silhouettes or item pickup icons, for example. To make the game even more challenging, ammo, gadget counts and item pickups have been reduced. The max ammo count you start with has been decreased by half, comparing the FAL with one from the action mode difficulty right here. You get 60 bullets instead of 120, which for an assault rifle is definitely not a lot, and you start with 1 gadget instead of 3. You will notice often that you go through your ammo much quicker than usual, so you have to think strategically which weapon or gadget you use before going into an F&D base, for example. Scanning enemies before launching yourself into combat is still a great idea. However, in this mode, they added a handicap to this. Scanned enemy icons will now disappear after 30 seconds, so you have to scan them again in order to know where they are. The radar also doesn't show any enemy icon dots anymore, so it's all about listening and proceeding with caution. A true test of the skills. This is totally a more hardcore experience, but can also be a little bit annoying if you only need one enemy to complete an F&D base, as it can be very hard to spot them. And while exploring Yara, you will find indeed less items like pesos, scraps, or parts needed for upgrading your weapons. You might also not spot them right away since the blinking of the item pickup has been turned off by default, but you notice when collecting them that it's not as much as you would in the action mode. Icons like F&D caches do appear on the radar right away this time, so that makes finding gear pieces or materials like gunpowder a little easier. And that's it for the big Far Cry 6 update video. If you like this video, don't forget to leave a like, it really supports the channel, and subscribe if you haven't already to miss nothing on anything Far Cry 6. Jordan is going to stream the Stranger Things crossover content, so if the video on demand is already up, you can watch it by clicking on the screen. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Goodbye!